In this video, I'll be explaining chapter 1 of the class 8 science textbook, that is crop production and management. India is an agricultural country and a large population of it depends on farming for their livelihood. When plants of the same kind are cultivated at one place on a large scale, it is called a crop. Farming includes growing crops of food grains, pulses, vegetables, fruits, nuts, spices, and sugarcane. In India, crops are classified into Rabi crops and Kharif crops. Rabi crops are grown in the winter season, generally from October to March. Some examples of Rabi crops are wheat, gram, pea, etc. Kharif crops are sown in the rainy season, generally from June to September. Some examples of Kharif crops are paddy, maize, soybean, etc. To cultivate crops, several tasks are performed by farmers over a period of time, which are referred to as agricultural practices. Agricultural practices include preparation of soil, sowing, adding manure and fertilizers, irrigation, protection of crops, harvesting, and storage. Preparation of soil is required before growing a crop. It includes tilling or plowing and leveling. Tilling or plowing of the soil supports the growth of microbes and earthworms present in the soil. These organisms enrich the soil with humus. This process also brings the nutrient-rich soil to the top. Plants use these nutrients to grow. Let us know in detail about the tools which are used for plowing. A plow is a wooden tool used for tilling or plowing the soil. The strong triangular iron strip is called the plowshare. The main part of the plow, called a plow shaft, which consists of a long log of wood. A hoe is a simple tool used for removing weeds and for loosening the soil. It has a long rod of wood or iron, a strong, broad and bent plate of iron fixed to one of its ends, a handle, a grip, and a beam. You must have seen tractors being used in farms. A tractor is a vehicle used in farms and is designed for lifting or pulling equipment. Nowadays, plowing can also be done by a tractor-driven cultivator. The use of cultivator saves labor and time. Once plowing is done, the soil is ready for sowing. Before sowing, good quality clean and healthy seeds are selected. Farmers prefer to use seeds which give high yield. We can separate damaged seeds from the good quality seeds by soaking seeds in water. As we do this, after a few minutes, some damaged seeds start floating on water as they are hollow and are hence lighter. Funnel-shaped tool is used for sowing seed. Seeds are put into the funnel and are passed to the sharp ends of the funnel. The seed drill is a modern tool used for sowing seeds. It is used for sowing with the help of tractors. This sows the seeds uniformly at equal distance and depth. Manure is an organic substance obtained from decomposed plant or animal waste. The decomposition of these plants or animal wastes is caused by some microorganisms. Some advantages of manure are: it enhances the water holding capacity of the soil, it makes the soil porous, increases the number of friendly microbes in the soil. Fertilizers are chemical substances which are rich in particular nutrients that are necessary for high yield of crops. The excessive use of fertilizers can cause much harm to the crops and the environment. The disadvantages of fertilizers are: they kill useful microbes in the soil, they cause eutrophication and waterway pollution, make the soil less fertile. Crop rotation is a method of replenishing the soil with nutrients by growing different crops alternately. The soil can be replenished with nitrogen with the help of crop rotation by growing legumes as fodder in one season and wheat in the next season. Some bacteria is present in the root nodules of leguminous plants. These bacteria are known as rhizobium bacteria, which fix atmospheric nitrogen to water-soluble nitrates. This process is called nitrogen fixation. When these water-soluble nitrates mix into the soil becomes more fertile and results in nitrogen-rich soil. As you all know that all living beings require water to live. Water is essential because germination of seeds does not take place under dry conditions. In the process of photosynthesis, where the plant synthesizes its own food, sunlight, carbon dioxide and water is absorbed by the plant. Water is absorbed by the plant roots. The plant in turn gives out oxygen. For the growth of crops, fields have to be watered regularly. The supply of water at equal intervals is called irrigation. The sources of water for irrigation include wells, tube wells, ponds, lakes, rivers, dams, and canals. The traditional methods of irrigation are moat, chain pump, dhekli, and rahat. These methods are labor and time intensive. The modern methods of irrigation are more efficient and consume less labor and time. They are the sprinkler system and the drip irrigation system. In the sprinkler system, perpendicular pipes having rotating nozzles on top are connected to the main pipeline at regular intervals. When water is allowed to flow through the main pipeline from the rotating nozzles, it is sprinkled on the crops as if it is raining. This system is more useful on the uneven land where sufficient water is not available. The drip irrigation is the best technique for watering fruit, plants, gardens, and trees. And every drop is utilized. Water falls drop by drop directly near the roots of the crops. So it's called drip irrigation. In this system, water is flowed through a network of valves and pipes. Unwanted plants which may grow alongside crops are known as weeds. Farmers adopt several ways for controlling weeds manually and by using chemicals. Weeding is the removal of weeds. Certain chemicals called weedicides are also sprayed in the fields for removing weeds and do not damage the crops. 2,4-D is an example of a weedicide. Manually, weeds can be removed by hand or with the help of a tool called khurpi. For controlling pests, other living organisms that can kill pests can also be introduced, which will not cause the pests to become resistant to pesticides. For controlling pests, pesticides are used. Pesticides, when not used judiciously, can cause a significant harm. The cutting of crop after it is mature is called harvesting. 3 to 4 months are taken for a cereal crop to mature. Harvesting is done manually by a sickle or a machine called harvester. In the harvested crop, the grain seeds need to be separated from the chaff. This process is called threshing and is done with the help of a combine harvester, which can carry out both threshing and harvesting. Separation of grain and chaff by farmers with small holdings of land is done by using a winnowing machine. Finally, the harvested produce is stored. Harvested grains have more moisture and are prone to attack by insects, rats, and microorganisms. They are properly dried in the sun to reduce moisture and thus prevent getting spoiled or attacked by insects, pests, bacteria, and fungi. Grains are stored in jute bags or metallic bins. Large scale storage of the produce is done in silos and granaries along with specific chemical treatments which protects them from pests like rats and insects. At home, dried neem leaves are used for storing grains. Like plants, animals also provide us with food. The rearing, breeding, and raising of animals for food products is known as animal husbandry. Some products obtained through animal husbandry include milk, eggs, and cheese. This was a 3D animation explaining the chapter 1 of the Class 8 science textbook, Crop Production and Management. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.